What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Randy, and Abe might be here. We're waiting on him. We have no idea where Abe is at or what he's doing, but I am joined by another incredible guest that I always have. He's not really a guest.
I'm
He's
not
like,
a guest at this point.
Yeah, this is his home at this point.
Or regular.
We are joined by Will. Make sure to check him out, or his band out at Official Bruce. Yeah. A small little shout out there. And it's Will's birthday tomorrow. So that's going to be the most positive that I get on this episode. But before we start the shit show, which I mean, not only about tonight's episode, but also about where the hell Abraham's at. Will, how are you doing this evening? You're rocking a new buff.
Yeah, I got a Tika buff. Tika strong, because I'm a big Jam Jam and Carolyn fan, and Josh is technically a Tika member. We can throw Josh in the bill there. But I've been doing good. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to a nice restaurant, going to eat some nice food. So got a lot of things to look forward to.
Oh, what type of food are you eating tomorrow? Do you know?
I'm going to this Gordon Ramsay restaurant.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's going to be really good. Well, happy birthday to you, man. Obviously, if you guys are watching and want to get in on the action, go ahead and leave us a comment in our live chat. We would love to hear from you guys. We'll try to answer some questions throughout the episode as well. But okay, let's get into things here, because oh my gosh. So I spoke with Will before we went live here, and I am about to rant. Okay, this season was really promising. In my personal opinion, and no offense to the castaways who have gone out to the island, it hasn't been their fault. But the new era has been terrible. It has not been good. It has just not been the Survivor that we all grew to love. It has not been fun. 43 was all right. 43 was a step in the right direction.
Not 42. I liked 42.
I wasn't the biggest fan. I think the winner kind of soured it. We know how I kind of felt about Marianne winning.
True. I forgot.
So 44 was being hyped up to be this incredible season. And I thought thus far, I could see why. We're finally getting back to kind of classic Survivor. There's been some great moves. There's been some cool new twists. Props to Jeff Probst and the gang. And this episode, I'm trying to think how aggressive I want to go into this. This episode was, I'll use the words that I put on Twitter. It was laughable. It was stupid. It was outright ridiculous and embarrassing. It was, I don't even know what to say. The twist that they kept adding, it just kept getting worse and worse. Out of the 11 remaining castaways that we had in the season, 4 of them were eligible pretty much to put votes. 4 of them were eligible to vote tonight for a total of 5 people. Out of the 11 people, 5 could have been eliminated. It's just, I don't even know how to put it into words. I was screaming in my living room. This was awful. This was just terrible. I don't know what's going through Probst's mind right now. I don't know how he can think this is a good idea. Matt, who ended up going home, and I did predict that to be correct. Yeah. He did end up going home. Matt had 1 vote all season. This was his first time he could have voted. Now, yes, I understand that's because Soka kept winning a lot of these challenges. 1 vote all season. It's just, it blows my mind. If I finally make it on the show and I can only vote once all season, not because I was the first one voted out or anything, because, I made the merge, but I only got to vote once. It's just it's stupid. I don't even know. I keep saying the same thing and I'm rambling at this point because I'm just flustered. That's the word. I'm flustered and I don't even know what to say. It's disappointing. And this has really put a sour note on the season for me. And I said this at one point tonight. And I literally was like, if like Jeff Probst to start tribal council said, this twist, it's the new part of the game. And you never know what's going to happen. And Jamie fed his ego a little bit and was like, yes, Jeff, like, it adds to the strategy. No, it doesn't.
No,
we keep taking votes away. We're taking the strategy away from this game and we're adding more and more luck. And I really want someone to go out on the island and just for once tell Jeff when he's on his pedestal, this is part of the game. I want someone to say, Jeff, this is stupid. I want them to do it. And we had it in Danny and we saw the throwback that he got, but I'll stop my rambling now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What I knew I was going to start the episode with this. Will, I'll take it away, my dude. Take it away.
So the problem is that it's a rehash of a twist we've seen for the last few seasons, right? The whole idea of it's the merge, but now two tribes split into one. That's something we've seen before. Or no, one tribe splits into two. But that's normally a double vote, which to me is a lot better. Because I feel like still everyone has a chance to play, right? But this was just way too luck oriented. And I like the payout. I would rather have Jam Jam stay than Matthew go. Or than have Jam Jam go, right? And I think I kind of called Matt going. I didn't think he'd leave like this. And the whole, the vote was intense. Yeah. But I felt like there's a lot of things going into the episode already that would have made the vote intense, right? Like there's always that scramble on the purple team of Jam Jam and Matt trying to get in everyone's ears, trying to see if they can sway the vote away from the original, what's it called? Soka, or if they could, do it again. Like that's really riveting, right? And normally before we have that, but like times two with the two tribes. But no, we saw one tribe eat peanut butter and jelly and just talk about how much they want Matt to stay, except for Carolyn, who's always just freaking out and never evolved with the group setting, which is just one of the, like, who likes when Carolyn is ostracized? What's up, Abe? How's it going?
I cannot hear anything.
All right, he can't hear anything.
He can't hear anything. Abe, you don't have us? All right, keep going, Will. I'll message him.
So, but like that's one thing that like I don't see anyone really liking in the season is Carolyn just feeling ostracized, not really having a place in the group. We have that. We have more showmance, whatnot, of just scenes of Matthew crying about Franny and Franny crying about Matthew. I will say there is one good positive that this episode had, right? And I think that we all can agree on this. Franny's win. That was really cool and really exciting to watch. That was, honestly, I kind of thought that was going to happen with like how it was getting edited, but that was really riveting. Like it starts on such a high note, right? And we also see like Danny going after Lauren. We see Carson being like the middleman. Honestly, this would have been such a great vote if there was no twist, because we saw a lot of like what was going to happen, right? Again, Danny was targeting Lauren. We have the original Tikas being in the middle for whatever reason, but no, let's just give Heidi all the power. It's ridiculous.
I just don't even get. That was another thing you brought it up. The whole point that this has happened before. Jeff at one point when I'm sorry, I'm gonna go into the sob stories now as well. Okay. I want some villains. I want some damn villains. I want people out there who don't care about feelings and about the feelings of others. I want that. Why can't we get that on this show? Why does everyone have to have an amazing story?
Abraham is not available because he can't hear.
Abraham, can you hear now? Well, this is not good. I don't know, but
I don't know what the problem is.
Let's see.
All right.
Hear, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Hello,
hear.
hello.
I can't hear. Don't hear.
Just kick him out, dog. Just
Oh man, I can't. I don't know.
it's
You
been
know,
a day.
He wasn't even on time today. That's unfortunate. I'll talk to him later about that. But anyways, back to the main gist of things. So I'm sick of the sob stories, right? Yes, it's sad. And I felt bad for Matt and seeing the tears go from his eyes. I felt it. And same with Jam Jam. But like, we don't need this, Jeff. We don't need, like, as soon as Franny wins, he puts his arm around Franny and he's like, how does this feel? Describe this to us, and yada, yada, yada. And it's just, I lost my point because I was doing the Abraham thing and everything. But it's just, we don't need it. And at one point, I remember now, Jeff literally said, he was like, this is, describe to us in this moment. This has never happened before where you won immunity for an entire tribe. I'm like, this has definitely happened at some point. Someone pointed out Gabon. Did it happen in Survivor Gabon?
I think there's a similar challenge. Yeah. It was the challenge where it's a classic where they had like the hands and like the poles and had to like stay up. I think that happened. I haven't seen Gabon in a long time. Gabon's one of my favorite Survivor seasons though. I think the problem is like you're going on Survivor and you don't have a lot of time. And so you want to be memorable. And I think everyone has their own story, everyone has a backstory. And so they want to share that. And I think that is seen as heroic. I will say, I think last year we had a really, really good dynamic villain with Jesse, who did have the sob story. He had a good background and he shared it, but he was still able to be cut through it. And I see online too all the time where everyone wants the next Corinne. Everyone wants the next, like everyone wants the next great Courtney Yates, where like a snappy, snarky villain. But I think already they weren't common in Survivor. I think we're doing.
Okay, get some headphones.
Okay. Wait, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, welcome to the show, Abraham. We were saying, what took you so long, my guy?
Look, I had the same setup from last night. I don't know why I wouldn't. Why would I have to have headsets plugged into my microphone this time? But usually I just plug it into the computer, and it all works great. But I'm here. That's all.
We were wondering what took you so long before, because we went live at 9:15. We're like, where is Abraham at?
That's because your guys are just sitting there next to whatever device you're using. I have to actually walk upstairs, turn my computer on, and you're like, "Oh, we're going live in 2 minutes." I was like, "I'm still in the kitchen." I'm like, "Hey, I gotta walk upstairs."
Oh man. Well, welcome to the show, Abraham. Let me catch you up real fast. I went on a huge rant about how I've not been a fan of the new era Survivor. It's been bad. This season has been better. This season has been better until this episode. This is the biggest. You know that Rock meme, Will? When the Rock goes, "This is the biggest piece of dog." Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
But some people might know it. This episode was the worst episode I've seen in forever. It was so bad. I don't know what they're doing. Abraham, I don't want to repeat everything. This is too far. Out of Matt, who went home, made the merge, and only did one, he casted one vote this season. I would be pissed if I went on Survivor. I've been applying forever, and I got to cast one vote all season. Not because my fault. It's just they're taking votes away. And that whole twist that we haven't really got into, Will, the Heidi twist, the choose a vote advantage. We're taking more votes away from people. We're just taking votes away. Votes don't even mean anything anymore. They don't mean anything.
So what was
taking them away?
So let's back up for the episode. What would you have taken out tonight to make it a good episode?
Just do the merge. Just merge and have people use their social game and their strategy to depict who goes home. We are taking that away from the castaways. We are taking away the ability to be strategic. Abraham, look at Survivor Australia and what we just saw. You have it in your background there, Australian Survivor. Look at what King George did. There were no twists. There was no mergatory. There was no, okay, 5 of you are going to be safe, 5 of you are not. It was just the game of Survivor. It was just use your skills to your advantage. And George controlled the game and dominated because he's such a good social and strategic player. We're taking that away from people.
We gotta remember now, George had way more time, and that was a different cast. Those casts are coming back of returning players. And here's the thing about it is, we want the game of so-called evolve. And the game has. 41 to 44 are not the same type of Survivor. Do they have the same type of elements? Yes. So we saw a great gameplay, and we threw a twist in there. But we've seen that twist before where if somebody wins, they win for the whole tribe. So that's nothing new. Then he throws some more twists in there and say, okay, we're going to give you a secret advantage where you can have somebody cast a vote, which is a great move. Because now you create, do I go back to an old tribe where did I vote off a loved one? In this case, they voted off a loved one because Matt is gone and the romance is gone with him. So
true.
If we had more time to develop the characters and develop a social game, I agree with you 100%. There's not that kind of time. This is a fast-moving game, and I like the fact that they had to run through the jungle and find the keys because ultimately, whoever finds the keys and get the advantage has the weight of the responsibility. Now, you put your vote to tell Lauren to vote for Jam Jam. Now, we're looking at when Lauren comes back, how is she going to feel about that? Now you get the social game. Because now it's like, oh, so you went against us.
Yeah. I think the one problem is that I think this twist should have been just next episode. I think I agree with Randy. I think having one just clean, solid merge episode where only one person's safe, leaving the rest of the 11 people or 10 people to scramble. It's good because normally, like a normal merge vote never really happens anymore. You know, normally there's always some twist where half the tribe's immune, the other half's not.
The merge doesn't mean anything now. I saw someone, not to interrupt, but I saw someone tweet that the merge means nothing now.
Yeah, because you got 3 tribes. Now, if you had 2 tribes, you could in essence get down to where when the merge happens, you have the right numbers. Then in essence, they created another little segment of the game of, yes, you made the merge, but you didn't get the buff, which makes no sense. If you make the merge, you should be able to make the merge. But you now have to earn. And here's the thing about it is, you allowed for 5 other people not to be on the chopping block.
I don't know. Because normally, again, before, I think it would have been cool or maybe interesting if this was done to both tribes, where both tribes had to vote someone out. Both tribes had to find the key. I think that would have made it more chaotic. My only issue with this, though, is that I think there's too much of an imbalance of power where the other tribe really is down to luck, right? Because it gets to the point where because there's only 5 people in the tribe, one person's immune, and then one person's losing their vote. It is kind of luck based, right? We saw Jam Jam squeak it out with good social play, but I don't think it should have been that close. And I think the actual social strategic part should have had more of an impact than this twist. And I think that is a good compromise between wanting the game to evolve because, again, I don't think anyone wants Survivor to be the same show 40 seasons over. That might be controversial, but
I might want it the same. I mean, just
go watch Borneo, bro.
Yeah, just to say one more thing about the George aspect, Abraham. George wouldn't be able to do what he did in Australian Survivor if they just kept throwing these twists. We don't need it. That's my point. And I really, really hope, I pray to the Survivor gods that Jeff Probst can just look at Twitter for 5 seconds.
You got a podcast.
I don't know if you guys saw the tweets tonight. I got on Twitter immediately after this twist of half of you aren't going to be voting. It was hated a lot. Yeah. Like the fans hated tonight's episode altogether from what I'm seeing. And it's just, I don't know what's going on in his brain. And he answered this on his podcast. It's on fire. They have this segment where it's called Why Does Jeff Suck? Or Why Jeff Probst Sucks, or Why You Suck, or whatever like that. And someone messaged the show and literally said, Jeff, you are the worst thing about the show. And he said, you know what? I agree with that because I think we have a lot of great aspects and I'm probably down on the lower pecker. I'm starting to agree with that because I don't know what's going through this man's brain You have this perfect thing that is Survivor. You've been
Yeah.
doing it perfectly for almost 40 seasons. And for whatever reason, a coconut had to fall on his head or something because he thinks, let's take this perfect show that has been amazing for decades and completely change it.
Let me throw something in there. Those first, we'll say first 10 seasons, there was no social media. You just don't know how bad it was. You only get the TV version, but people had to live in those environments in other countries. When this one story we had where they were in a country and the river that ran behind it was so polluted that they couldn't even touch the water. So there's a lot of elements to the show that I can understand. Let's go ahead and try to evolve and grow. Now, saying that, there's going to be a lot of stumbling blocks. There's a lot of stumbling blocks to get us to 44.
Mhm.
But there's also been some great things that happened in 44 to endear us to the show still.
Yeah,
So-
there has. It's been a great season up until this point, I think.
And Jeff is not sitting in a room by himself. There's a gang of people in there with him and say, hey, let's see if this sticks on the wall. Let's go with the bird cage. You know what? That bird cage might be good. Let's put a fake idol in with the real idol and see what player can get somebody to get the fake idol.
Great twist.
And then when you merge, do you realize we got fake and we got real idols? Because
You
now
saw that today too.
we didn't see Danny on the chopping block, except for Carol Ann. But Danny wasn't on the chopping block. Danny is now on the chopping block because now they realize, wait a minute, he must be has the real idol.
Yep.
But now you see where a relationship with Matt, which was a target, he becomes a bigger target. But then we also see the tribe unity where they say, nope, I'm not voting against anybody. And then we see Kane, and then we see up until tonight, tell me who saw Heidi.
We saw
Give me
Heidi
Heidi's edit.
last episode.
Yeah, what episode really has Heidi been showcased in except for tonight's? Because I was like, wait a minute, who is that player? I'm looking over here at my list. I'm like,
What's
I'm
her
like-
name?
It's not just Heidi. I feel like Heidi and Lauren, I feel like I look after them more because I know they are very under edited. And so this way, it's like a game. I'm like, where's Heidi and Lauren? And like every time there's like a scene, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Heidi and Lauren. Oh my god. I don't know why they've been purpled though. It makes no sense.
I've literally had to go to the list, and I was like, for our viewers, I had to go to my list, and I was like, what's
What's her
that?
name?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Before we get into, I know we've been talking, and thank you, gentlemen, for letting me rant. You all, both of you, always put me in a better mood. But I was screaming, and I hated this. I never want to go back and watch this episode ever again, personally. But
There's
yeah,
a few worse
I mean, that's the best.
episodes.
That's the best thing about Survivor is it's, subject to everyone's opinion. So I totally get it. If you disagree with me, you disagree. But before we actually get into the rest of the stuff, because I know everyone's probably sick of hearing me ramble on. This is how I was going to start the episode. There was this news that broke this week. It was a rumor
Oh, yep.
that starting in season 45, we are going to go to 90-minute episodes. And not only that, there was another article that said after season 44, this should be the end of what they're calling the COVID pandemic era of Survivor. Now, they don't know if that means we're going to go back to rewards. They don't know if that means we're going to go back to 2 tribes, whether that's going to go back to 39 days. I doubt it. So just everyone watching, I would limit your expectations because Jeff says he loves the 26 days and he loves all these twists and advantages. But that's what the rumor, the main rumor is we're going to go to 1.5 hour long episodes, which I'd love to hear your opinions about. And then the smaller rumor is that back, but I was listening to Jeff Probst's podcast, On Fire with Jeff Probst. And Jeff said these past couple of seasons, they had to build tribal council like pretty much on top of each other because they didn't have time between seasons because of quarantine and all that. So he said everything's been rushed. He said that on his last podcast, that everything these past 4 seasons, they've been rushed to get done because you're quarantining and all that. So that's why the rumor is saying that after this season, it's supposed to be the end of this COVID pandemic era where they have to rush to get everything made and done and stuff.
Now, here's only my 2 cents from being on the show. Now, we were in the real pandemic because that when we came in to Fiji, the entire production crew flew in with us. So they were literally starting from scratch. So that means from the shutdown until we could go back, they were not doing anything. I'm pretty sure they probably had a team that went out there, a small team that went out there ahead to blow the dust off some things. And here, because that bamboo we were trying to work on had fossilized. So I know it's been out there for a while. But here's the thing. We also moved away from that. Also, by being in the same location, it's a lot easier to tear down and build up. So I'm not really sure what the pandemic version of this was, but pandemic stopped a year ago. So as far as making it 90 minutes, wherever you extend the show, you cut it into somebody else's time. So CBS would have to give up FBI because FBI follows Survivor now. So are you going to give up that time slot? It all depends on ratings. So it's a lot to go in. And we would like for it to be an hour. We like for it to be an hour and a half because that gives us more time to look at the show. But realistically, you're probably going to be at 45 minutes, which is in TV time, 30 minutes. Because after the commercials go off, everything else.
Abe, this rumor, and I'll go to Will next for this. This rumor is gaining steam. Martin Holmes has reported on it. He's kind of like the Adrian Wojnarowski of Survivor. That's a basketball reference. He breaks all the news for the NBA. Martin Holmes breaks a lot of the news, much like Dalton Ross. Dalton Ross is probably the newsbreaker.
Name I know.
Was Martin Holmes in Fiji on the island?
I mean, Martin Holmes he just has a lot of knowledge, and
was he on the island? Was he?
He might have been. I don't know. He's
verified. I mean, was he ever on the island?
Abe, are you saying you don't blindly believe everything you read online? No.
I mean, I'm just saying this is gaining a lot of steam. It's sounding like this is going to happen, and it wouldn't shock me, Will, if CBS makes this move and makes Survivor another half hour.
I'm just saying the context of. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm saying I think. Well, the thing is, that's what fans have been wanting for the last. How many seasons? 10, 20, 30, 40? You know, and so it makes sense. It's a good move for them to have 90-minute episodes. I will say, though, I think the one thing Survivor US does best is the edit. I know we talk about how Heidi and Lauren, they get, little screen time. They're under-edited, right? But I feel like we still see them. There are at least episodes where they're present. I feel like the one big gripe I have with Australian season, I've only seen one season, so this could change in the future. I don't like how a lot of players get shafted. I think part of it could be that the fact that there's so many people that like most people have to just not be present. But I think in Australian Survivor, there's only like 10 main characters with a few side characters. I at least feel like with US Survivor, even Matt, good old Matt, he had a sob story. And as much as we hate the sob story,
he had a love story.
Yeah, a love story.
Can't stand the sob stories.
But I feel like still, like, we hear from every player. You might not like their story. You might not be able to, like, be invested with it. But everyone is still able, like even someone like Kane. Like, we don't see much of Kane that much, right? But we still know Kane. Same with Lauren. Lauren probably has the worst edit of the season so far, but we still know her for her extra vote and how there's a lot of drama with that. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see. I'm hoping that 90 minutes could help boost the Lauren's and Heidi's. But I think of all the issues Survivor US has, like 90 minutes. It's nice. I love it. But like, it's also not the biggest thing that we need to have. So
I'm with Will. It would be great if it could, but you have to step back. Randy, wait a minute. You in television. What are you talking about, guy?
What do you mean? No, I am, but this is definitely something they can do because that second slot was not FBI, like you said. It belonged to Lingo, and they canceled Lingo at 3 weeks in. They canceled it. It's not on TV anymore. So that slot is now open. That slot belonged to Lingo. Now, I don't know, obviously, what they had planned for the fall, but this isn't really as big of a deal as everyone is making it sound in the TV side of things, because CBS really goes off the air after their news at 11 o'clock, I believe, is their latest news. And then they kind of just have generic ad stuff, or they're replaying stuff and stuff like that. So all they would have to do is they would have Survivor on until 9:30. They would have, let's say, FBI from 9:30 to 10:30. Then you would have to find a 30-minute thing to stick like in there.
Show.
Yeah, like some type of 30-minute game show or something. And then you have And then you have your news at 11, and it really
Mhm.
doesn't change anything other than that. And my guess is for the fall time, it would be Survivor from 8 to 9:30, Amazing Race 9:30 to 10:30 because that's usually taking that fall spot unless they
Yep.
move it to a different day. And then after Amazing Race, you have, like I said, that mini show, and then you go to the news. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that CBS makes this happen.
I will leave with this one. This will be my last words on it. Whoever got the best ratings gets the best slot. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, and as far as we know, that's Survivor. But let's get into finally now 31 minutes
yeah.
in what we in a positive route. I'll try to be as positive as I can the rest of the episode. They did name the Merge Tribe today. So just a small thing to touch on right at right at the start. What do we think of the Merge Tribe name? Vava.
Ooh.
So it's basically 4-4.
Is it a Fijian name?
I can't remember. I think it's Fijian.
If it's a Fijian name, I'm all with that because you pay in homage and respect to Fiji and the culture by utilizing their names and bringing that light to a large audience. If it was a name that they pulled out the air, I'm with Will on his first suggestion.
So actually, I did look it up. Va is Fijian.
There we go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a better. I don't know. Just
It's a lot of Fijian names, man.
It reminds me of like Lala from Teletubbies.
But
Lala, but it's Baba.
Let me add this. The Fijians that took care of us during the course of the show are greatest people I ever met in my life. The greatest people, man. They make you feel so welcome. We had a chance to do one of their local ceremonies, and they really take good care of us. I know we're there for the show, but after the show, we kind of do our thing, but they're there for us 100%. Survivor fans, everything else, man, it's great. So if that's name is, and that, you already said, well, that's the name from Fiji. That's great.
Yep.
And go ahead, Will.
I was going to I'm not saying it shouldn't be a Fijian name. I think that's really cool, and seeing that makes me appreciate the name a little bit more. I just think I don't know, just something about it is just. Oh, I know Fijian for 4. Let's just say Vava.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What's that? Bulavanaka. Bulavanaka.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a cool name.
That's good. That's good morning. That's not a cool name. That's the one thing I remember.
Another thing that we saw this episode is, Will, you touched on it earlier. We saw the fake idols come into play when Brandon was sitting around and telling everyone, look, in that birdcage idol, there's a fake idol, there's a real idol. And this made Matt, who was sitting high on a pedestal, being like, oh, I'm good. I got a vote now. I've got an idol in my back pocket. He instantly went, oh, you don't say. Yep. And he started putting the pieces together, and he looked back and he's like, hey, Danny was kind of pointing me around on where to look and all that. So I'm going to guess that Danny has the idol. And the original plan was to vote out Lauren because everyone was scared, or Danny at least was scared of her extra vote. And then we saw the vote start to flip before we knew that they were going to get separated at the challenge. We saw the votes begin to flip to where Matt, Franny, Carson, and which I think Carson infirmed Jam Jam and Carolyn. And Kane was also there. They started thinking, why not blindside Danny, a big player in this game, while he feels safe. Now, obviously they couldn't do that, but I also found it interesting that Tika's in the middle here. Jam Jam, Carolyn, and Carson. It looks like from what I saw this episode, those three are still really tight because Carson went to them immediately. And I think that's a trio that we might need to watch out for, possibly making a run to the end of the game.
I think Carson definitely tripped up in this episode by going to Kane and letting him know and tipping Kane off. Because what was the first thing Kane did? He was like,
other people.
Well, I'm on a name. I mean, and that's definitely something you don't want.
Well, that's last episode, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that carries to this episode. The only reason Carson wasn't on the chopping block is because his tribe won, or the group that he was with won. But that would have been enough to put him on the chopping block for me to be like, wait a minute.
And that's one thing I really, really hated about the challenge. I know we want to be positive. Stick with me on this one.
You can be negative. I don't care. Bring it on.
I think, again, this would have been perfect to have at Final 10. I don't know what the point of having one person have to try to guess the right tribe on. And this could be because I'm not, again, I've made this clear, I'm not the biggest Carson fan. So it's like, but at the same time, I don't like how he just got a free pass because he guessed right. And I feel like the Carson fans out there, all
I'm a
million of them.
Carson fan. Yeah.
Yep. You're probably like, oh my God, because Carson would have been on the chopping block. Right. I think his name would have been thrown around. And you're like, oh my God, can Franny you pull it out? And so my boy Carson can be safe. Right. I honestly was like, Franny should hold it out just because it'd be badass. And then we can hold it for Carolyn. But I don't like, I feel like he should have at least had a fair shot, Like
I mean, it was 3-1, and everybody dropped out.
I mean, Franny killed
Hold on.
it. I loved watching Franny. You mentioned it earlier, Will. That was a positive part of this episode.
That was great.
Franny outlasted 3 men: Jam, Brandon, and
No, 4.
No, she outlasted
4.
9 people to win because everybody fell off.
She did, but no, I think the only person that dropped was maybe Jamie.
No, Kane dropped his.
Yeah, no, but Purple had only 1 person missing because it was 1v4.
You're right. I like the challenge. Don't get me wrong. Love the challenge.
Yeah.
I would have only loved to say, okay, if you win, you get immunity. Everybody else got to vote. Especially when you got 11 players. You already have an odd number anyway.
Yeah.
So to give one half their immunity plus an additional player, and then say, okay, well, remaining 5 are stuck. Which I do like the dilemma of Matt hadn't been on the chopping block. He hadn't had his own vote until now. And any showmance has to be broken up in Survivor. So we knew Matt was going to be on the chopping block.
Now, you guys didn't add on to the fact that I think Tika is in a really good spot here. So I'm interested to know what we think about this Tika 3. We kind of saw, if I look at this episode in a positive way again, we did see alliances really separate this episode. We saw Brandon talking with Jamie and Lauren. We see that Ratu are staying Ratu strong. And we see in the preview for next week how Danny basically says, we need to get someone from Ratu out. And we see that Soka is kind of staying Soka strong in a sense. And then you have, I mean, this season compared to the last couple of seasons we've had, it seems like the tribes, because Tika is also staying strong as a 3, it seems. So it seems like tribe loyalty this season is kind of dominating who's working with who at the moment.
At the moment, but
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It'll change next week.
Still early merge.
Yeah, still early in the game. I think that Jam is probably going to be the most loyal player or the most renegade player after this, because he's gotten out of 2 tight situations but Josh being voted out, now Matt being voted out. So now, and you get a different feeling when you know you're not going home and you're going to be on a jury. So you check something off your block and say, I made it to the jury. Yeah. Now you're saying, okay, I'm going to play a little differently. Well, we see Jam has the ability to not stop talking. And he will talk. And actually, I think that might be a benefit to him because he doesn't hide anything. And he's like, hey, when we came back from Tribal, hey, I know it's an awkward moment, but hey, I'm still loving everybody. Unless you vote me out.
And I think too, I think he just gets along with everyone, right? Like even he was able to make a friend out of Josh, and him and Josh hated each other, for a while, And I think that's one of Jam's strongest attributes is that he is so outgoing. I think it makes it easier for people to be like, you know what? I want to work with Jam. And we saw that a bit today, right? We saw Lauren go, hey, I actually really trust Jam. I trust him more than Matt. And I feel like part of that was just because Jam is just easygoing. Anyone could be a friend with Jam. It could have. Was it Lauren?
Let's take a count. Who has real idols?
Carolyn. Danny has a real idol. Carolyn has a real idol. Jamie has a real idol.
No. So that's all that. Okay, everybody else has a fake idol or finding out their idols are fake. That's a good move. Now I wanted
Jamie
Lauren.
have a real idol?
No, I wanted
Lauren.
Jamie.
Jamie has a real.
No.
Wait, does Jamie, or was hers temporary? She might have had the temporary idol.
She had the temporary and the fake idol.
Yeah, so she doesn't have one. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's what got me. Who knows? Who knows? Before we go to commercial break here, And I'll ask you guys before as well if there's anything else you want to mention about this episode. I do want to talk about Matt's elimination. We'll get to that after the break. But before the break, I want to bring up the well, I just had it. This advantage in the cage. All right, so we touched on it a little bit. We see they have this note at the PB&J chips and tea feast that they're having. The winners are having. What do we think about this? About this twist? You know, like I agree with you, Will. They definitely shouldn't have done it this episode. We already had a big twist. We don't need another one. I hate this twist, and I'll tell you why.
Really?
We need, surprise, surprise. We need to stop taking votes away. That point blank, we have to. Survivor, at the bare minimum, it's been about who you vote for and who you vote out of the game. And I don't know what flipped. I know Jeff is probably looking at it like, well, you got to earn your vote now. We got to stop taking votes away from people. Like, it's crazy that 3 of the people who were eliminated this year, or 2 of the people eliminated this year, didn't even cast a single vote. So, Abraham, I know we have disagreed on everything. You love the new era of the show. I don't.
Look, I hated 41. I still haven't gone back and look at 41 because all the things they did to us on 41 to get to 44.
You got screwed. Yeah, I'm just messing with you though. So what do you think about this advantage here?
So okay, who were they trying to save when they found out they could control somebody's vote? And why did you pick Lauren? You could have picked any of them, but you knew she had 2 votes, so they were still playing the game because now Lauren's question was, do I have to use both of my votes, or does she only get one of my votes? So their gameplay came from Danny because Danny wants to vote Laura out. So they're still playing the game. No matter what the twist is, they were still playing. And I don't disagree with the bird cage thing at the end of the peanut butter and jelly. That's probably going to make you sick as a dog. But
did you see how much peanut butter they had on those sandwiches? Woo.
Yeah, Kate talked about that, about being sick and just like feeling his body mass trudging along.
We saw it. We're going to get to it at the end of the show. But Carson, we see him being sick next week. Could be. Did he have peanut butter? Could be from the peanut butter.
No. He did.
From the dirt.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they still keep them on their toes. You done had a good meal. You can go ahead and run through the jungle all day and find a bird cage. But ultimately, the twist gave them another option to try to save a player, which was Matt. They tried to save Matt, which they still wouldn't have saved Matt because Matt still got the majority of the votes. So I like the fact that they had a twist in there and try to play through it and create a thing. But I think that puts Danny on the chopping block. That puts Heidi on the chopping block. Because I got to look at her picture now. That put Heidi on the chopping block.
And Franny.
I think Franny is going to be a little emotional, man, now that Matt leaves. And we saw a glimpse of that. I think that may be driving her. Because who are you going to be mad at?
Yeah, well, I think
Lauren. I'm sorry. You should have took Jam Jam's vote. And you should have had Jam Jam vote for Jam Jam.
That's not in the rules, but you cannot vote yourself no matter what.
I was wondering, I was really wondering if they were going to do that. I'm stealing Lauren's vote, and I want Lauren to vote for Lauren.
I was waiting for that.
That would have been cold.
So even though this is a lot of stuff in one episode, they played the game until they realized Matt got voted out. And here's the thing. They are playing the game that's being dealt to them. We as an audience that's looking at it is like, man, that is crazy. But I guarantee if you were out there, you'd be running through the woods trying to get that key.
Hey, you know what?
I was just gonna say, Abe, I think you missed this earlier. I'm just waiting on something. You say if you were out there, you'd be doing it too. And yes, I would. I would be having the time of my life.
Absolutely, same.
Not ashamed. I would be like, oh, this is the greatest season ever. Yeah. I am still like Jeff at one point on his pedestal tonight was like interviewing at Tribal Council. He was talking to Jamie and he's like, ooh, this is the next twist in the game. And how crazy is this that it makes you think? And Jamie's like pumping him up. And yes, Jeff, this is incredible. This is an awesome twist.
He wants to return next season, dog.
That's what I said. People are too scared about wanting to return. I want someone to tell Jeff when he's like, "Oh, this twist is incredible," don't you
I'll
think?
do it.
I
We
want
do.
someone to tell him, "Jeff, this is stupid. Everything you've done the past 2 days is ruining Survivor."
You know
It's
what?
It doesn't make the edit. You never-
Yeah, for
do
one,
it.
and then for two, I think another problem is it's less so that people want to come back. It's also that you don't want to, you don't want to be a sore loser, because let's say you go to Survivor, you're on this national TV show, it's your dream, and all you do is just complain about twists, right? I feel like some people they just look past the twists and they just love being
that
on the
they're
island.
out there. Yeah, yeah.
Well, because
But-
they on 41 that hourglass, it got complained
Oh,
about.
Oh, 100%. That's different.
Doing the taping, it got complained about.
Oh yeah,
So
Danny was the
that was
one
a
who threw it out there.
bad
Did
twist.
you ever see it air?
No,
And,
they're
It-
chicken. Give us that footage.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
they-
all right. So we talked about most of the episode. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Go ahead and be thinking, guys, of who your player of the episode is. We will cover that when we get back. We will take any questions if you guys have any, and we'll also talk about tonight's eliminated castaway. We will be right back.
My name is Jonah Fielko, and I'm the CEO of Bracketology.tv, fantasy sports for reality television. We offer fantasy games for shows like The Bachelor, Survivor, Big Brother, RuPaul's Drag Race, and counting. You start by creating a community. Within your community, you can create a fantasy league for each show that you want to play fantasy games for. Within the league, you can choose up to 3 of our 4 game types, and our most popular is the Advanced League. Choose a team of contestants, and depending on what they do and say during the episode, that's how your team will gain or lose points each week. We also have elimination-style games like our Confidence Pool. This is where you choose how confident you are that each contestant will survive elimination that week. And we've also got March Madness-style brackets. Come back a couple hours after the episode to check your scores and watch you climb the leaderboard. Bracketology is free to play, so grab your friends, your family, your coworkers, and head to Bracketology.tv for more info.
If you are a Survivor geek like I am, you should tune into our show on Survivor Now every single Friday. My name is Tegwood, and my friend David and I come out with Survivor Social every single Friday. Now, what is Survivor Social? Great question. That is a great question. Essentially, we break down literally everything in the episode that you just saw on Wednesday. We go through point by point what happened, what didn't happen, what they showed, what they didn't show, what we wanted to see, pretty much everything. But it's all around the social game. We are big Survivor geeks. Are you a Survivor geek? Because if you're listening to Survivor Now, you probably are. We just kind of want to know how the social aspect of the game goes into the greater sense of Survivor and the winners and everything about that. So we break it down. We break it down with just us two sometimes, but also we have some really amazing guests, like our friends, also fellow Survivor geeks, but also past Survivor players who break it down with us. It is so much fun. So every single Friday, tune in to Survivor Social because it is a 10 out of 10. I will see you there.
I have to update that trailer or that commercial, I should say, because Survivor Social does not air Friday mornings. I mean, you can watch them Friday mornings, but they now go live on Thursday nights, and boy, do they have a guest tomorrow. Tegwith and David are going to be joined by the winner of Survivor China, Todd Herzog. I spoke with him today when we did a little test, and he is amazing. And I am so excited to watch that episode and watch them break it all down. And what an episode. I can't wait to hear what Todd has to say about the new twists and the new era of the show. So make sure to check that out. That goes live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So yeah, I will be there as well. So definitely hop in the chat, and looking forward to that. But I'll go ahead and put this on the screen. So if you are watching, go ahead. If you want to let us know who the player of the episode is, put it in the chat. But before we talk about the player of the episode, gentlemen, let's talk about who went home tonight. And that was Matt. So what are our final opinions on Matt and the game that he played? I know it was sad. We got that romantic montage between him and Franny and Steven Fishback tweeted on Twitter, oh no, the montage. I think we're losing Matt here. Like I said, that was the one thing that I got correct because I've been saying all week, I think Matt's going home just because we were getting so much Matt and Franny content. So, Will, I'll start with you. What did we think of Matt's game here?
So, Matt's game overall, pretty weak. No, Matt seems like the nicest guy ever, but like he was a guy on Survivor. I think his gameplay, it sucks because I feel like this episode he started coming in on his own. He learned about his idol being fake, and he really pinpointed Danny as a huge power player. And it sucks that like right when he was figuring things out, he kind of just got a bad division, right? Because he was pretty much always going to go, even with the twist, right? But like it sucks because I like Matt, but of everyone on that tribe, I'd probably want him or Brandon to go the most. I'm just happy that Jam Jam's staying, man. I love Jam Jam. He's my favorite player so far.
I think he might be on a little tightrope. I think Jam Jam's time might be coming to an end here shortly. Abraham, what about you, man? What do we think of Matt's game? I mean, it was touching when him and Jam Jam, even though I don't like the sob stories, but it was touching seeing how much this game meant to them. We see tears going from both their eyes. It was tough. Even when Matt got eliminated, you saw, I mean, he even reached back to Franny and he's like, Franny, I love you. It was like out of a movie. So what do we think of Matt's game
Unlike
here,
you,
Abraham?
unlike you two heartless tubes. Survivor is an experience, and you get so much out of the game that you don't expect. And I think Matt is one of those type players. His game might have not been to outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah.
It might have been to find a partner that understands and knows him with no distractions, because you get to spend 24/7 with each other and talk and just.
Yeah.
It's almost like if they put a little thing around his head, they can say "Love is blind." I can't see you, but I can talk to you. And I got it on his gameplay. No, we didn't see a lot of Matt playing, and most of his edits was about the relationship and his speech about how things he overcame when he came to the game of Survivor that he thought he didn't. I think that's just as important to him playing the game. And don't forget, he gets to sit on the jury and make a decision on who gets $1 million. So at the end of the day, yeah, he's still there. They learn. Look, they're gonna pick him up in the back. They're gonna take him to the Ponderosa. He's about to get a good meal and a good night's sleep, and then he's gonna replay his gameplay the whole time because he didn't have a vote, but he took a shot. He aligned with the right people, and they won challenges. So we really never saw it develop. And then when it came time to, he threw a couple of shots at the well. Then it was hey, Jam Jam came up to him, said, hey, let's vote together. He didn't do that. So he was going to turn on Jam Jam anyway. So,
yeah.
like the great Survivor player Billy once said in Exile Island. I believe it was Exile Island.
No.
Cook Islands. Thank you. Like the great Survivor player Billy once said, I may not have won $1 million, but I found love. And
love at first sight. Her name, Franny.
He's going to be remembered as the guy who formed this relationship with Franny. That's going to be how Matt goes down in the Survivor books. But I'd love to see him play again. I'd love to see him get a second chance. Maybe not with Franny.
All that now. I ain't say all that.
Maybe not with Franny. Not on the season. Okay, gentlemen. What did you say, Will?
I think honestly, Matt would have been a better character on a very early season, like season 1 or 2, probably like season 2, because that whole season was meant upon like, especially the final episode, of like reflecting and like getting a lot out of the adventure. And I feel like modern Survivor, it's just you gotta play the game, find the idol, go get the key, throw it in the ocean.
They all have a certain level of emotion that comes that would normally not come. It would, in a normal setting where you're eating and you're not living in the woods and not doing all crazy stuff during the course of the day, you wouldn't be that emotional. But you're telling a story.
I just think the older seasons, I think Matt just would have been a better fit but at the same time, too, Matt's like 20. I think it would be interesting to see an older Matt. Matt's not that young.
Man's
But I'd love to
27.
see an older, more mature Matt who's not like going through it. You know, just
I
seeing
think he
him.
found love. I think he found love, and that's the most important thing, guy.
True.
So, gentlemen, it is time to get to our player of the episode. And we're going to do something new this week. So, we used to do
What?
player of the week all the time on our Instagram, and I kind of got lazy. But we're going to do a new thing here where we're going to give you the candidates. We might not always agree. Whoever we think is player of the week, we're going to pitch our case to why they should be player of the week. And then those will be the options. We will post it on our Instagram for all the fans to vote. And then whoever gets the most votes will officially be the player of the week. So, and it starts this week. We're starting mid-season because, why not? Okay, so let me go to Abraham first here. Abraham, because this is your first time since we've gone live, because we've been missing you on the show for a couple weeks now. Who is your player of the week?
That's because I've been at live events. My player of the week, do I get two or only one?
You can say two, like you can pitch two people, but at the end you say, if I had to lean one way, I'd say this person.
Okay, so my first one's gonna be Franny because she's a badass for today's episode, and she came up there and she demolished that challenge and gave her tribe the win, or her half the tribe the win. My second one, if I can give out two names, it's gonna be Jam Jam.
You can give out two. There's only three people here.
Jam Jam social game saved him.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but
that's Will, you want to piggyback off that? I mean, your name counts, Abraham, because I know Jam Jam is where Will's going here.
I feel like I say Jam Jam every episode. I feel so bad. If we can get Jam Jam on an episode, I would be so happy. Anywho, I think I agree completely with Abraham, but I would flip them. If I had to lean, I'd lean towards Jam Jam. But Franny definitely deserves an honorable mention because I think not only that too, but she did have a lot of influence into Heidi using that advantage to try to save Matt. I feel like if Franny wasn't there, they wouldn't feel as close with Matt. But I think Franny has a good social game, and so they thought what could help Franny would help us. But I think but at the same time, no one expected Jam Jam to stay. As Carolyn put it early in the episode, it's like everyone was just like, we got to help out Matt. We got to help out Matt. Find the idol, find the key, help out Matt. And then Jam Jam was still able to pull through. And I had like one of those like, let's go reactions, seeing that third Matt vote. I was jumping up and down on the couch, wearing my Tika buff. I'm like, Matt, you're out of here. Say sayonara to Franny. Jam Jam's world. But yeah, that's probably.
Well, I mean, this is a common theme this episode. I'm disagreeing with both of you.
Yep.
This is
always one.
A common thing.
It's always one.
Always
I'm going to throw out plus we need more choices here for the fans to vote. So we got Franny, we got Jam Jam. I'm going to throw out a sleeper pick. I think Lauren played really well this episode. I don't know if you guys noticed this because I didn't notice it at first. She didn't play her extra vote tonight.
I noticed that.
Yeah, she did. She could have played it by all means and put it on Matt because that was the plan. But she was able to count in her head. You literally saw her look at Jeff with that desk there. She literally went, does that mean she gets my other vote? And then he says no. And then she looks back. And you could tell she was thinking and calculating. And she didn't need to use it, and she didn't. We've seen too many players who just waste these extra votes just because they want to make sure that they get the person out that they want to go home. And she knew, look, Jam Jam's voting Matt. That means Brandon's voting Matt. Jamie's voting Matt. That's 3. That means myself and Matt are voting Jam Jam. I don't need to use that extra vote. There's no reason to. I think that was a great strategic move by Lauren because now she still has power in this game. She still has that extra vote to use.
I don't think Jeff had a look on his face of surprise, like, wait a minute, I didn't think about that one. If you go back for everybody that recorded the show,
he did. No, he did have that. Yeah.
When she said, does she get both votes or just one? Like, oh damn, we forgot about that.
I will say, is there any merit in her throwing away the extra vote, because really the only reason why people have thrown out her name is because of that extra vote.
It's because of Danny, not
And
the
because of Danny.
vote.
True. But Danny has that ammunition. So even though the votes would have always been the same, do you think there's any merit in her using the extra vote just to vote out Matt, even though she knew that the votes would be the same? It would not affect anything. But I feel like that would weaken Danny's argument against Lauren.
Well,
Now,
I
I'm not saying
don't-
I think that, but I'm just saying that could, like, just playing
I
devil's
mean,
advocate.
that's a good question to throw out there, whether it'd be smart for Lauren to kind of lessen her threat level because, to get rid of
They
her
don't- but they
extra
don't
vote
know.
for that reason.
oh, yes, they do know. They
Oh,
do.
no, everyone knows. She
I-
says it.
yeah.
She said if they didn't know, they know now because she said tonight at Tribal Council, everyone knows I have an extra vote.
But what's the biggest
It-
threat? An extra vote or immunity idol that you haven't played that
Exactly.
nobody knew about until
Well,
now?
I just think Lauren should keep that vote for as long as possible. I'm not convinced that the girls don't have something going on this season. And I'm talking Heidi, Lauren, really Lauren and Jamie more, but we see them talking to Franny all the time, which Franny's going to kind of be a free agent now of sorts. And Heidi, we saw Heidi literally talking to Franny a lot tonight. I don't think I can use it to say Matt. Now, yes, that kind of probably formed a little distrust between the two, but I'm just not convinced that as these numbers continue to what's the word I'm looking for? Dwindle down. Thank you. As they start to dwindle down here, I'm not convinced that the girls can't get together and put something together for the end game here.
I think when we get a little close, I think we still have too many people.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to vote a few more people out. Maybe the next 3 vote outs, we'll be able to see clearly who's left. But that puts us almost to the season finale, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Dang.
This is going to be pretty. I think as it starts to wrap up, it's going to be pretty interesting because now you have real drama. You had drama before, but now you have real drama because now you get to come back to camp. You already know Danny's looking, gunning for you. You know Lauren got her extra vote, but now you got to say, okay, Heidi, why'd you pick me? You want to use both of my votes up? Was that something Danny manipulated? So, and then you still got Carson and Jam and Carolyn. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how they stick together throughout this next vote out, because the next vote out is really going to be the balance of power. Because out of those three individual tribes in one tribe, whoever's the next person voted out, the power shifts over to whoever's left. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
I will say, I think with the season, I've noticed that there's just different groups that are all kind of culminating, right? So we have like the Women's Alliance, right? I don't know if they have an official alliance, but like I feel like we do see Lauren and Heidi talking together and Jamie. We can call that
quite often, yeah.
Quite often. And then there's also just Tika, right? Carson, Jam, Carolyn. I will say, I think in that group, I think the tighter duo is going to always be Jam and Carolyn. I don't think Carson is.
I don't know. I have to interrupt just for a second, and then we're going right back to Will. I would say Carson and Carolyn in that instance because it seems like she went to him immediately once the merge started. But I'll continue. Sorry.
Well, at the same time, too, it's like Carson has been gone for a while, and she was living with Jam. So like she like there's nothing to say to Jam. Like they know each other. I think Carson had a new deck of information, and Carolyn was excited. I think what could eventually happen, Carson might split away with Kane, right? And I think Carolyn might get not paranoid, but she might see that she could either be 100% guaranteed good allies with Jam or try to get Carson to trust her over Carson trusting Kane. And then there's also like the bros. I don't know if they're still like if they have anything. I know Brandon was talking about Danny to Matt, but we have like Danny and Brandon. They're probably still going to try to bro it out, probably in front of Carolyn, and Carolyn's probably going to
Carolyn gonna get everybody. She's gonna get everybody.
Carolyn's gonna win this game. Carolyn or Jam. I'm calling it now. I'm Tika strong.
I think Tika. I was saying earlier. I think Tika is a very strong trio that no one's looking at. And if Ratu and Soka start to go after each other like it looks like they're going to, I could see Tika just slip it. That could be your final 3. Carson, Jam, and Carolyn. all
don't
the
think
way
it'd
to
be a
the
final
end.
three.
So let's go.
Could
Let's
be.
go around the campfire, gentlemen. This is where, if you are watching, you have any comments. I know the comments haven't been coming in today, but that's okay. We've had viewers; they just haven't been commenting. But if you want to leave any comments, go ahead and leave them now. We'll try to get to them. But gentlemen, this is now the time around the campfire. Say your piece, anything you want to say about the episode, about Survivor in general, or just about your day. Abraham, you looked like you had something to say there.
As always, man, I like to see the progression in the game. I like to see that they don't try to repeat what was in the first 3 seasons of this new era Survivor, and we starting to see and enjoy just different aspects of it. So I like when they on the edge. I like when they keep having to play because nothing's guaranteed. Now, I will agree. I don't really care for you merge and then you don't get your buff. I think once you merge, you should get your buff and then battle it out because if you can do what you did tonight and have one player sit out, you can still do the same thing with 2 players. But I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. It was something that I was like, okay, I don't really know what's going to happen to the end. And I like that little twist where Lauren gets a vote and then she has to find out if she keeps a vote, gives a vote away, and then they still vote out Matt. Matt, you enjoyed and got something out of the game, which I think is always great to get something out of it. You might even found you a wife. It might be a wedding coming up. Survivor style.
Oh, brother.
The next Rob and Amber.
Boston Rob got 4 girls. I was like, hey, Boston, what's up with them girls, man? But he went out there on Survivor, man, and other players have met. So I think that part of it gave him so much from the show that I think that's going to always be with him. Can't wait to meet him in person and be like, hey, man, and see if he's still shy and whatnot. But it's going to be – this is going to be a very interesting season to see who's going to be cast as the winner.
Yeah. So I think I found a compromise with the whole cage idol thing that y'all can agree on, right? I think instead of taking a vote away, I think you're able to just write one name down as a vote as a tribe. I think this will still let everyone vote. It still gives the players a chance to scramble and try to get the power. It still gives them a chance to play the game. The final vote count would
It'd be six people, unless Lauren used her extra vote, which would be 7.
Lauren would probably use her extra vote in that case, but I think that's a decent compromise with how, because I know Randy, you want everyone to be able to vote. I agree with that, but Abraham, as I'm talking to you, I think I kind of agree with letting the sit outs be able to still manipulate the game. I think both tribes should have had to go through the whole challenge of, going to tribal and then finding the key. That way it's less one tribe has all the power. But I do really enjoy Survivor still. I even like 41. There's very few Survivor seasons I genuinely dislike, and I think I'm biased 41 because I've talked to some of the people from 41, so But there's only 3 Survivor seasons I don't like. I'm a huge fan, and then yeah, can we prolong this until midnight, until 4:13, so we can celebrate my birthday?
Dude, man.
It's his birthday. Tomorrow. He
Yeah.
wants us to do another hour and a half. I don't know if I can give you that, Will, but I can text you at midnight. No, but so I think we've covered pretty much everything this episode. It's going to be interesting next week. It looks like Ratu and Soka are going to go after one another. And we also see, we didn't touch on this, guys. Well, they are doing another challenge that we've already seen before. I'm done being negative. But we see the net challenge. So they're recycling challenges again. But then we also see Carson throwing up, it looks like. And then we literally see him in a cradle position, saying, I'm trying to not let this get to me or something like that. You didn't see that, Abe, on the,
So let me tell you a funny story. So I ain't gonna say who it was, but they ate some snails, and we're sitting there talking. They wasn't feeling well. Literally, we were all sitting next to each other. They just basically kind of leaned over and threw up, and it was like, "Oh, I feel better," and came back. So they just showing it. Now, if it's a prolonged illness where he's throwing up, yes,
he could be the 3rd medevac this season.
No.
I mean, he has to be thrown up for a while. So they might have just shown it because he ate something and it just made him sick or whatever. But they all eat dirt. They're all eating dirt and pineapple. So I saw Lauren with a piece of orange. And I was like, where did that come from?
It's all
So
that. It's all that
Orange.
damn peanut butter that he ate is what it's going to be. That mountain of peanut butter. So we do have some exciting stuff to share with you guys as we start to wrap up here. Abraham, go ahead before I talk about what's coming up on Survivor Now YouTube. How about you tell everyone where we're going to be for the finale party this season, because the trip's been booked.
well, before we say all that, I might as well give my shout out to my own watch party.
Oh, yes, please.
yeah.
I forgot about
is it
that.
Is it on the 26th?
26, yes.
On the 26th of April, if you're in the San Antonio area, come out. It'll be me, a secret guest, and no other than the queen herself, Sandra, in San Antonio.
Ooh.
The queen.
We will be
You
doing a
can't
watch
tell it's
party.
the queen, but that's the queen.
And then after we do that, me, Randy, and the rest of the podcast crew will be up in NYC for a 2-day Survivor finale.
Ooh, I am.
Working on a
Except,
thick idea,
except
guys.
for Will. Will, I
No,
wish you
Will.
could make him my man.
This is what I figured out. I was talking to Randy last night. You can't go into a club, but you can go into a restaurant or something that sells alcohol.
What?
Yeah, you can't go into a club because you're under 21, but you can go into other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like it's not like a club.
I don't know. I don't know how the whole like watch party stuff like happens or works. 'Cause, like to me, my idea of it was like an event, and then there was just like drinking there, and so you'd be like ID'd at the door.
Yeah, I don't think you got
That's
ID'd.
like
I thought it was 21 and over, and I don't think it is. I
It's like
thought
going
it was.
into what's the place that serves alcohol and you go in and get food? Any place.
A
Every place.
restaurant.
Well, yeah, any restaurant. Yeah.
So
What's that place called where you get food but you can order alcohol at the same time?
because in Atlanta, you would have enjoyed
McDonald's?
meeting. You'd enjoyed meeting Jack Black too, and overseas in McDonald's. I think it's the alcohol. Jack Black was in Atlanta with us. That was pretty cool. Oh man, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because I saw some kids in there, so and they served alcohol.
Oh yeah, no.
But that's
so
where
we-
that's what's coming up for us.
So maybe in
We
the
will be-
future you'll
In the
see.
We
future,
will
hey, Will.
be
In the future,
in-
you will be there.
we
What's
will
that?
be in
In
New
the future,
York
we'll be there. How's that? In
for-
the future, we'll get you there.
Sir.
for the finale party. That was the most in the futures ever. Let me tell you what's coming in the future for Survivor Now podcast. Total Drama Island. We are covering that season. Myself and David. There are leaks online. This is my warning to everybody because I've been spoiled a little bit. I haven't seen the winner, thankfully. Knock on wood. But there are some spoilers going online because you can find the full season of Total Drama Island. It is up there. It has not premiered on U.S. television yet. We will not be covering it until it premieres on U.S. television for everybody. But we will be getting an early start. We will be doing a cast assessment next Monday and breaking down the entire cast and giving our official predictions of where we think everyone's going to finish. So make sure to join us for that. Survivor Social going live tomorrow night, Thursday, April 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time with the winner of Survivor China, Todd Herzog. I cannot emphasize how huge of a get this is for us. You guys can leave your questions for Todd. Email survivorsocialpod@gmail.com. Leave your questions and they will definitely get to some of them. We got a few things here. Hold on a second. Chris says, "Hey guys." What's up, Chris?
Hold on, Chris.
Welcome.
Chris Dixon.
And then Jay is here. He says, "Wait, what have I walked into? Drinking?" Yes.
No.
Yeah, I mean that is
Drinking.
no drinking for Will, but Abraham and I were talking about drinking.
Soft drinks for Will. Ha.
And then he left one more comment. Wait. Has Franny's threat level decreased now that Matt is gone, or has it gone up since everyone knows Matt is going to be a guaranteed jury vote? That's a very good question. I don't think Matt being a guaranteed jury vote will come into play unless
Okay.
Franny makes the final 5. Then I think they would start looking at it like, hey, she's got a guaranteed vote in Matt, and he's definitely going to be campaigning for her. At this point, with 10 people left, I don't think they're going to look at that quite yet. I think Franny's threat level has decreased at the moment, and I think she's going to be in a good position. She's going to be a free agent, and I still don't think people like tonight's vote wasn't about weakening Franny. It was just about Matt hasn't really
Protecting
fit in.
Jam Jam.
Yeah, protecting Jam Jam. Thank you is exactly what it was about. So real quick, guys, before we end here, anything to add on to that?
No, I think that she's probably gonna take it a little. Man, let's go for the real. She's gonna be like a woman scorned. We don't know what's gonna happen next. She may blow the whole island up.
Oh, 100. I don't. I'm a huge Franny fan, probably third in my overall ranking. I don't think Matt being on the jury is going to be her downfall. I think she's just going to play a good social game. I think that's going to be one of the things used against her. But I think people are just going to want to vote for her. Maybe not over everyone. But I think right now her threat level is decreased. But especially in the end game, it's just going to increase crazily. And then Chris Dixon also sent another question in chat.
Yeah, I'm about to bring it up here.
Bring it up.
Fast answer, guys. I have one question that's all about intense new school strategy. What food and drink did you guys consume while you watched the episode? I had Pizza Hut before the episode, and I had nothing during the episode. That's my answer.
I have water.
Yeah, we're boring. Will, anything fun?
I had a Coke Zero that I finished during the podcast.
Yeah, we're boring answers. We just drank. Yeah, I did not eat or anything during the episode. I can't. The drama just has me.
I have to take notes.
Exactly. Like do you guys write your notes like pencil and paper, or I use my phone and those notes?
I do pencil and paper.
I do both. Depends on my mood.
Yeah, how much do I want to write today? We have to be prepared.
We're probably we got all kind of notes right here.
J.E. Abraham
and
fan.
What's going on, Jay? I appreciate that shout out.
I just see Abraham liked him on 41. He's been here. I guess we'll wrap up with that. Yes, welcome back, Abe. So yes, we'll wrap up with that. Abe, this was your first time on the live. What did you think of the whole live? Like, it's crazy. You've been yourself and Will. You guys have been with me since I was using my phone to record these episodes. Like, it's crazy,
bro.
It's definitely, I like the upgrade in technology. I just didn't have that chance to readjust it to it because I didn't realize until right now I can make the screen bigger. So I was like, I got this little bitty screen. I'm like, my stuff in the background doesn't fit right, so I got to work on that. Getting on is easier. I like the little scroll thing at the bottom. So I like the new features. I just got to get used to them. I like the broadcast thing that comes across the bottom. I guess when somebody's viewing it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I would like this box. You're in the show. Everyone can see you and hear you. I want to get rid of that box.
Wait. Which box?
You might not see it. So I see myself on with everybody in the group thing, and then on the left-hand side, I see myself on myself.
Oh yeah.
And there's a little thing that says you're in the show.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah, that's because I can send you backstage and everything. But all right, well, thank you guys again for joining us and tuning in. Maybe Josh will be back next week. He just decided to take a week off here, so hopefully we'll have him back. Definitely tune in to Survivor Social tomorrow night. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, whatever time of day it is. Oh, wait, one more thing. Wait, I totally forgot to say, this is a weird ending, and I know I've prolonged this. Abraham, we had the pleasure to speak to someone yesterday. Who was it?
It was Jerry from Survivor Australia. And let me tell you something. You jumped off way too soon because I got a chance to meet his wife and everything. He is a blast. So you haven't gone out there and checked it out, the interview with him, you will learn some of the best inside scoop on the Australian, some of the players, George, Simon. Great guy. He's 64 years old, came in there and outlasted, outwit, and outplayed a lot of players that were stronger, faster, and better. He's a younger version of the next players of Survivor.
All right, and with that, head back to camp.